Our most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to gather here today to do the business of the people of Limestone County. Help guide and direct us and help us make the right decisions to do what's best for the people. Help our country try to unite, join together, support all our armed forces, support all our first responders, police, firemen, etc. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to these Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
Welcome everybody here today. Do we have any citizen comments? No citizen comments, so let's go ahead and go into the consent agenda. I trust you've had a chance to look at the consent agenda. One item that I want to bring to your attention and the public's attention is that Jeremy Kennedy lost a check. I think it's around $3,400. He sold another piece of equipment that someone didn't pick up, and he brought us that money for storage fees. And so I want to thank Gary Lee Kennedy publicly for doing that. And that $3,400, I'm sure we can find a place for that. Anyway, consent agenda is in front of you. Is there any discussion on that?
I so move we accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Let me go back up to item before the roll call. For the record, let's just say that everyone's present with the exception of John McCarver, and that he is having some additional work done today. As a matter of fact, I think he's having some issues with the surgery he had. But for the record, I want to make sure that I got the roll call in there. So let's go into our regular agenda. One of the most important items that we ever take care of is discussion of possible action on an Acton County burn ban. I think right now with the police range, we're in good shape of leaving it off. So no action. The next three items are items through our technical IT department. So item number 8 is discuss and approve a profile software maintenance annual renewal for the sheriff's department. Leah, that's something that you know about?
Yes. That's for records archive. They're at the sheriff's office. They're scanning all their warrants and things like that of that nature.
They do it more. It's a co-file system that it's a renewal and maintenance agreement. So. Got a motion and a second to approve that. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Next item, item number 9, is discuss and approve a DOT rapid recovery maintenance agreement renewal. This once again is another maintenance agreement renewal. Lee, do you have anything to add to this?
It's just a customary annual renewal for our backup system for the majority of our servers.
I move we accept that price quotation.
Thank you. Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion will pass. Item number 10 is discussion or approval of the cost match CMT annual maintenance renewal. And once again, I'll go to our IT director, Lee Banks, to tell us about that.
And this is for the booking, jail's booking department, and it covers the system for fingerprinting.
So move.
Second. Motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Item number 11 is discussing or approve renewal of the established grant contract between the Office of the Attorney General and Limestone County in regards to the automated victim notification service. This is once again another renewal of the grant contract that we do every year I've been here. It gives us money each year to help pay for the victim notification service.
I move we approve the victim notification service.
Second.
Motion is second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion will pass. Okay. The next item is a interlocal agreement. We did one of these for the city of Walken last meeting. So this meeting, we're going to be talking about entering into an interlocal cooperation agreement with the city of Coolidge. And the city of Coolidge is asking that we do the same thing that we did for a few of their streets as we did with Walken, and we've done with other cities, Costa. Whereas we provide the labor and equipment, and they pay for the material. So,
Well, yeah, they just want to blade.
No, well, I talked to the mayor and he's wanting to know, Jerry, 2 or 3 days, did you talk to him about it? Because they want to have some rock called in and spread it at the same time. He wants to know, and he got somebody that's gonna haul the rock in, and they want to spread the rock at the same time. Let them spread it. Okay.
but it's still at no cost to the
Yeah,
county.
we're right.
Okay,
I'll make a motion that we accept that interlocal agreement with the city of Coolidge.
So,
we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on that item? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, we'll get into item number 13. Let's discuss and or take action on dispatcher certificate pay. This was brought up by the dispatch system folks. Ma'am, do you want to talk on that?
Yes, sir. We have a question from Jennifer and some of the existing dispatchers. What happens here is every time or not every time, but at certain levels, at certain milestones, thresholds, that they receive advanced certificates for doing the job. In the past, they received an amount for doing it. And they just questioned myself and wanted me to ask if that still is going to happen. How much is arbitrary, but that was a question. Are we still going to get additional pay for advancement with certain milestones in our certificate and our schools?
I mean, aren't they on a regular pay basis right now, Matt? Aren't they on a regular pay basis right now?
Yes, just like everybody else still works. Yes, they are. They're getting regular pay, but we call around a few dispatch centers, and that especially under law enforcement, when they're in law enforcement, they do get some sort of bump. Sometimes it's small as they move up the ladder and as they achieve, I guess, all the way to master dispatch. So yes, they do. Again, it's one of those things that it's up to y'all. You know, I think it's good incentive. Again, how much they're bumped is up to you.
Right now, the sheriff department, where I mean, 369, something like that.
Somewhere there.
It's 690.
690 for them.
For the different levels, the thresholds on the levels are different, with dispatch, and I'm not familiar with what all of these are.
I guess what it amounts to is we want to reward with a little extra pay once they receive those certificates.
I think that encourages them to be more professional and increases the professionalism of the dispatch center. I move we do that.
What kind of, salary, I mean, what kind of this?
Well, I would suggest the same as was when they were at the church.
Where they all in the sheriff's departments.
How much was a certificate pay?
Sir,
How much was certificate pay?
I'm not sure the top of my head. I don't know what.
I mean, dollar wise.
Right now, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 dispatchers that are receiving some level of certificate pay. So we are at, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 that in the coming year are expected to get it, plus 1 will advance up another level. So you're looking at, for the coming year, $8,100.
What
what is the third person?
You have two of them that are at the master level that are receiving 1,200 already. You have two of them that are at the advanced that are receiving 900. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. You're gonna have 6 that are at the intermediate level, which is 600, and one that will be bumping up to a new level, so she's gonna get an additional 300 to get her to the next level.
What, what's the highest level they can get?
1,200 is the master.
Okay, so there'd be no raises for them. There's no additional.
No, but once they hit the master level, that's just like at the sheriff's department. It's just the 3 levels.
And what's happened, of course, as y'all know, with the new county dispatch, what was happening before is now, they're asking, are they still gonna keep that? Because we're now gonna be independent. I would probably say that is, anytime that you get folks to buy in, I think that helps with our retention. So, I'm hoping that we'll continue to do this.
The board, will this money come from?
It'll be, it's included into their salary.
It's in there, I mean, you know,
In our budget?
So it's
in
in
the
the,
budget
It's
now.
It's in the budget now.
It's in the
I
budget
think,
now.
we should do it.
Is that a motion?
Yes, that's the motion. I make a motion.
Other than money for.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You know, man,
Bobby made it, then yours can be a second.
I'm not saying.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion on this item? If not, all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Sorry about that. Okay, next item is going to be item number 14, discuss and take action on petition to name the landmass being part of the bounds of Lake Limestone and including the property alongside East Limestone County Road 750A and Limestone County Road 750B from their juncture one with the other to the end of each, that landmass meeting the definition of a peninsula as Sadler Land Peninsula. Were you going to speak on that today, sir? Okay. Do you want to say anything about it today?
Our family, we're fine with that. We got some people that live out there that requested that.
This is primarily, if I understand correctly,
Name an addition?
just to name it, basically, that area. From what I understand, it would help with GPS locations, people are having a hard time finding it. And so, I think the Sadler family is going to put that addition together and correct it. So, I see no reason why this would be negative to the county.
So much.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, the next item is going to be discuss and take action on construction of airport hangars. I had some people come to me over the last couple of weeks, and one of the things being and I used to fly a little bit out there, and I know one of the things that's always the hard thing out there is to find hangars for our planes. And because so many of the people within Limestone County don't fly, they don't know, they probably don't realize the importance of what hangars are for these planes that we keep. And so these folks said that they would come out and build the hangars and pay for it. They'd like a lease agreement on it. And then at the end of a set number of years, the county would take it over. I finally, thanks to Buddy here, I finally got a copy of our amended contract that we have. That I think there's still 1 year left on that amended contract, but and so I wanted to ask you, and I didn't get a chance to ask you yet, but Buddy, if they build those hangars, do you have any problem with them finding an area out there to build? If they're going to spend their money, it's not going to cost the county a dime. Do you see any negatives to that?
Well, the only thing I see on it is we have a master plan for building and improving the airport. And we need to follow those. And where you looked at it here the other day, when you were there, is that area for multi-engine, only. What we we can scrap that. There's only a certain amount of acreage there that we can use anyway on that. And then behind the present hangars that are there, where they would build a single entrance, if they propose to do this.
Well, in all fairness, buddy, I think I started flying, what, buddy, 10 years ago, whatever, whenever I started. We've been trying to get hangars ever since then, but just, we never get any place for that, so.
Well, I've been approached by many people want to build.
Yeah.
And brought it up here several times and worked and tried to get something done. And it all fizzled out due to the length of the lease, that they could get. And, some of the same people that's proposing to do it right now tried that a couple of years ago. They were given a green light to, get a proposal together and get it there. Never heard any more from it. So if we can get something built, I'm all for it.
And you're saying to get a proposal together and give it to you?
No, get a proposal, I'd like to be included on the proposals and the structures, this and that. But, get it to the commissioners or me, and I'll get it to you.
I've contacted the FAA about the forms that we need to do this. I have never seen the airport master plan. So maybe that's where I need to start. If we can maybe get together, we used to have a committee that met on this, didn't we, buddy? I know I sat on that once or twice. We had a committee of folks that would meet for the airport operations.
I think they had a zoning committee that looked at it years ago, that is, nothing happened with it. The airport board,
That's what I'm talking about.
on that, that is, we haven't had that in 30 years.
Well, I know I sat on
And
one.
that is after, when the county took over.
Yeah.
Bought the airport.
Okay. Anyway, I think it would be good if we could get some hangars built.
So do I.
I think it would be financially good for the county at some point in time to do that. It would be revenue for the county.
Bring a lot of planes.
It would bring planes in, it would help your business out there. So I'm gonna ask that y'all, that maybe we take no action today on it, but that we, that maybe I can get you some more information in the future. Frankly, what I was hoping to do is just to be able to tell you guys, yeah, let's get with the FAA and see what it takes to build you a couple of hangars out here. Just do something build, and then as more people want them. My original goal was you build it, you pay for everything, it immediately belongs to the county, and you get so many years of free rent out there to pay for your hangar.
That's how it's been working.
That was my thoughts on it. That's not what these people want to do, and so I'm a little odds at that. But I'd like to see us get some hangars out there. Right now you have, if I remember right, I used to keep mine back there, you got 5 canopies, but no enclosed hangar, except for the one hangar that DP Frost used to have out there, right?
That's correct.
So, anyway.
Well, when, the biggest thing was like when I built something out there 3 times or 4 times, is the length of the leases. They just weren't long enough at all.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last.
I said that the leases were not long enough. I only got a 15-year lease when I built 3 of those open air hangars.
Mhm.
And so did, I think Greg Barnes, built 2 out there. He did the same thing. Then I built 3. It's a 15-year lease or 10-year lease, something like that. It's been many years ago. But that's all I got when I built the big hangar, was 15.
And right now, if I understand correctly, your amendment is up on September the 1st next year, right?
I believe that's right.
And so I think it would be good for us to renegotiate that into a current lease that will be ready to go forward next year. But I think part of that is having hangars available for some of these pilots. And of course, once again, we want that to be at no cost to the Anyway, let's go ahead and pass on that item today. Buddy, you have anything else you want to say on that item?
What's that?
You have anything else you wanted to add?
Well, but I forgot it already.
Well,
Join the club.
let's go ahead and pass that item then. I don't see a lot of action today. Okay, item number 16, we've got a discuss and or approve invoice submitted by the Limestone County Detention Center for payment on overhead door company. This is under Sally Port. That door, was $6,646. Now they're saying the other one needs replaced. So, if y'all want to approve this invoice, now's the time.
This work's already been done.
This work's already been done. The one Sally Port door actually, became non-functional. So we pretty much had to get that down, so we didn't have a lot of choice on that. And in all fairness, I called around, I had some doors built, 14 by 14 doors, built not long ago, for a whole lot less than this. However, I did find out that, in checking prices, this is a fair price. Because of the heaviness of the door that's required out there. So,
I move we pay the invoice on overhead door company for Sally.
a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion on that item? If not, all in favor say aye. Okay, now we're going to start talking, item number 17, that's discuss and or take action on courthouse restoration, set date to issue plans, set 2 dates to advertise in the local paper, and a date to accept proposal. Sam, are you ready?
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for hearing me this morning. I appreciate it. I'm going to report to you today is twofold. There's a reason it's twofold. One is to just bring you guys up to date on the restoration here at the courthouse. The other is to get this on the record for the state. I hope you should each have a copy of this schedule here, but let me go ahead and read it. We start on October 28th and 31st. We'll place legal notices in the Mahia Daily News. We'll follow that on the 5th with the legal notices in the Groesbeck Journal. On November 9th, we'll issue the documents for proposals. Also at that time, the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation will review our access issues that we may have down here, and they will either go ahead and license us or we will request a waiver on that. We go to November 19th, we'll have a pre-proposal conference. On the 30th, the proposals are due to the county auditor's office no later than 4 o'clock. December 1st, we'll open the proposal and read them at a special commissioner's court session, which is required as part of the grant. December 2nd, the architects and engineers will review and tabulate the proposals. December 7th, architects and engineers will deliver a report and recommendations to the judge. December 8th, architects and engineers will make a recommendation to Commissioner's Court, regular session of Commissioner's Court session. The court decide and announce selection. December 9th through the 21st, we'll complete contract for construction, obtain signatures from contractor, bonds, etc., and a legal review by the county auditor and the attorney if we need that. And December 22nd, we will submit recommendations to court for signature by the judge, court to issue notice to proceed to the contractor. As of yet, we should be receiving our notice to proceed from the state here pretty soon. But I needed to get that on the record and see if that works for you guys. And we'll go forward from there. Do you have any questions?
Okay, then, we have any, I guess what we need to do then is to take the action for the notices as presented by Senator House. To go forward with that.
I come on.
Second.
Motion in a second to approve those proposals. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Sam.
All right, now, We got about 7 minutes, we're gonna get all this in, Jennifer, before we
I'll be
go.
quick.
And open. All right, most of the agenda is used, come on up. All right, first item we're gonna talk about today is discussing our approved designation of the Hayes Civic Center as temporary branch early voting place, personal appearance, November 3rd, 2020 general election. Anybody have a comment?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Let's go ahead on 21, discussing and approve dates and times for early voting by personal appearance at the main and temporary branch early voting places in November 3rd, 2020 election.
So I provided two proposals. One of them is basically what we did in March for the 6 p.m. being extended. The other one has longer extended hours, 7 to 7 on that last week of early voting. Governor Abbott did extend early voting. It begins on October 13th, so we're gonna have 3 weeks of early voting, 2 Saturdays. Looking at quite a bit of hours here, but that's pretty much the only difference is the 7 to 7 on the last week or the 7 to 6 on the last week. Of course, we can change anything for pieces.
There will have already been 2 weeks and 2 Saturdays prior to that, or 1 Saturday.
Well, since we have 2 Saturdays that fall in that timeframe, I was asking to do both Saturdays, yes. So we have 2 Saturdays of voting this time. But we normally only have 1 Saturday.
You're okay with the 7 to 6?
I'm okay with the 7 to 6.
I think the 2 Saturdays and an additional week, 7 to 6 that last week should be added.
And the second week, I have on here 8 to 6. Do you want to keep that 8 to 6 or do you want to do that 8 to 5?
I think 8 to 6.
I think 8 to 6 also.
Okay.
So you need a motion to do that last week, 7 to 6, and the week before, 8 to 6.
Yes, sir. And
That's
the
so
2
moved.
Saturdays.
Second.
Motion and a second, any other discussion on that item? If not, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? So I don't get too far ahead of myself, let's go back to item number 18. And that's discussing our approval record of transitioning from election temporary position to full-time, part-time position. This is something that I have trouble with, but we have a part-time person, and if they're temporary part-time, then at the end of their temporary service, you have to let them go and can't rehire them. What's happening is getting people in here, training them to do a job, and because they're temporary, we let them go, you can't hire them back, then you have to hire someone else in, teach them everything. Whereas if we were to go full-time, part-time, full-time, part-time position, then they still are a part-time position. It's just that we would then have to start paying them retirement. Not health insurance, but retirement. But the good news about that is, and I think we not only have that in your position, Stacy, did you still have that one in yours?
Still have that in mind.
And it's really hurting Stacy, because I'm not saying you're not important, but this is something that she really relies on, and that person gets up to speed on what they're doing there pretty much, and then they're gone, get hired. So I would ask the court to consider changing those 2 positions from temporary part-time to full-time part-time positions.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second, any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much on that. Now let's go down to item number 20. And let's see. Right.
Yeah.
Discussing or approved designating the Hayes Civic Center as a temporary branch early voting polling place, a personal appearance in the November 3rd general election.
So moved.
Motion and a second, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, let's go to 21, discussing or approved dates, times for the early voting and personal appearance at the main temporary branch early voting polling places on November 3rd, 2020 election.
We did that one.
We did that one, so is that the same? Okay. Let's go to 22 then, discussing and approved service, serving all registered voters in Knoxville County at the main and temporary branch early voting places for the March 3rd, 2020 primary election.
This is just, it's in the election code, to every election you determine who gets served where. Early voting is always been open to all registered voters for the county.
And I think that'd be a good question.
So moved.
So, motion and a second, any other discussion, all in favor say aye. Any opposed?
May I ask, Judge, may I just?
Yes.
Did we make motions and stuff on 19? But we skipped down to 21.
Yes.
Okay. I just didn't want y'all to go back there. Okay, fine.
Gary, keep it straight.
I will, sure, sir.
All right. At this time, I am going to go ahead and skip down to item number 31. And I'm going to open this Commissioner's Court up to a public hearing. Actually, I'm going to include 31 and 32. We're going to have a public hearing right now to all, any of the citizens in Limestone County that would like to visit with us about the proposed budget and about the proposed tax rate. So at this time, I'll open this public hearing up. If you don't mind one at a time. All right, sounds like the public hearing, you did have a chance for those to speak. This time I'm going to close that public hearing. Let's go ahead then and do 33 and 34, and then we'll go back up. Item number 33 is consider and approve annual budget for FY 2020 and 2021. Go ahead.
On the motion I did earlier for the, elected, or the part-time position, you want me to go ahead and include that and get that into the new budget? So what you have in front of you doesn't show those numbers, so I will get that changed before we actually file it. So,
We can,
after court.
So we need to adopt the budget with those changes.
Yes.
which I think is about $900.
I didn't know that until I saw the agenda that it was on the other side, I haven't even figured out numbers, but.
I'm pretty sure it's about $900.
It was, I calculated up her pay from last year and it went right at between 7 and 9.
Okay. All right, do we have a motion to approve this year's budget?
So
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? There's some actual verbiage that we have to read off on adopting the tax rate for FY 2020, item number 34.
Judge, I would move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.7678, which is effectively a 1.32% increase in the tax rate.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? The discussion, I think it's important that people know that that is still, though, a lower rate than what we charged last year. But it is an increase over the, I still call it the effective tax rate of the United Court. Anyway, we do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on the side? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we'll go back up to item number 23, and that's discussing or approve the method of voting for early voting by mail, early voting by personal carriage, and election day for the November 3rd, 2020 general election. Jennifer, what's all that about?
We just have to approve the method of voting. Blackstone County uses optical scan ballots for early voting by mail. We use direct recording, electronic voting for election day, and early voting by personal appearance.
That's not something you want to do? We do have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on the side? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll go to 24, discussing our appointment presiding judge for Central County for the November 3rd, 2020 general election. Jennifer.
Yes, sir. Again, this is part of the election code, section 127.005. You have to appoint a PJ for Central County. Generally, that is me with Kristen as my alternate.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, let's keep going on this election laws. Consideration of the use of a public building for the November 3rd, 2020 general election pursuant to section 43.033 of the Texas election laws.
I've asked for no change. It stands at $50 per building.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion on the side? All in favor say aye. Item number 26 is set compensation for election workers for the November 3rd, 2020 general election for election day, election training, and delivery of election supplies pursuant to section 32.091, 32.093, 32.114E, and 32.092 of the Texas election laws.
The current rate is $10 per hour for election worker compensation. We have a flat rate of $25 for election day training, which we won't be doing any in-person training for this election. And there is a rate set of $25 for delivery of the election supplies plus mileage at the end of the night. The judges to bring the equipment back. And we might ask you for any changes.
So moved.
Second. Motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? Not all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay. Item number 27 is discuss and or approve for record only the general election service contract and joint election agreement for Limestone County and Worthington Unified School District for the November 3rd, 2020 general election and authorize county judge to sign.
This is a standard. So back in May, we generally, let me start over, I'm sorry. Wortham has about 20 registered voters in precinct 206. So they have to contract with us to have their ballot put on our ballot. That's what the contract is asking, that we conduct that portion of the election for them.
Anybody have a problem with doing that? This, go ahead. All right, we have a motion.
Yeah. Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Not all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? And we're gonna do the same thing for, Groesbeck Independent School District on November 3rd general election, item 28 on the agenda. Is that the same?
Yes, sir, they contracted with us to conduct that election.
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? Not all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, item number 29 is discuss and or approve the record general election service contract between Limestone County and the city of Mahia for the November 3rd, 2020 general election and authorize county judge to sign. So,
Yes, sir, Chris is here.
you have anything you want to tell us?
I think it's the same thing that we approved back in May, but of course, the governor moved the regulations to redo the date.
So moved.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that motion will pass. Item number 30, discuss and approve placement of porta potty on precinct polling place 203 in Ben-Hur for the November 3rd, 2020 general election. If y'all know, we put the building out there, but we need a place to,
They need one for the day.
they need one for the day.
So they can get back.
So moved.
Motion and a second, for the porta potty. Any other discussion on this item? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we got through a lot of that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Next item that we're gonna talk about are some, budget transfers. And so the first one that we have here is budget transfer 483. Budget transfer 483 is, emergency management is requesting that we, Matt, you want to talk about it at all?
Yes, sir. That didn't too long ago now, we received $75,000 settlement on radios we bought. It wasn't the radios, it was a component, a separate component that was bad. So for some reason, the owners doubled their money back on it. And we've had that money sitting in there. We spent a little of it to improve dispatch and just a little short on getting the sheriff's department totally fixed up like they should have been in the first place. It took a while for us to get to this point because we wanted to research the gear and not make another mistake. And then COVID came, a bunch of other delays came. So this is the tail end of a project that really started about a year ago, based 90% on the money that we got in that settlement. And so we're a little bit short of everything we want to get them. There get some new cars. We had to have 2 satellite dishes reinstalled in the new cars that cost a little money. So that's the basis of this request.
Man, I tell you,
still having trouble with a lot of those radios?
No, not that I know of.
Well, I was talking to Al yesterday up there, and he was talking about,
Well, now, the Allen thing is something the Judge and I discussed. No, not necessarily, not that I know of. We're going around and doing our yearly checkup on them right now, so.
This is money that you're going to be, getting 1,500 of it out of the vehicle repair and then 3,500 out of our contingency line. We have about 36,000 left in that right now, so he's asking to move that amount over to take care of these radios.
So moved.
Motion and a second, any other discussion? Not all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, let's look at the next request for a budget transfer. This is gonna be to jail. This is, we need to increase the medical for the prisoners. Murray, anything you want to add to this other than just show all the medical on those? I know we're spending a lot of money out there in the medical for our prisoners. But we do have the money left in the food line item, some in housing, and some in the uniforms, and he's taking it out of those and putting it over in one line item. So we're not looking for new dollars, we're just looking to move it around.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay. Last item on the agenda today is discuss and take action on payout of jailers, historic time. This is a subject that it's always kind of been a bit of a controversy because of the amount of liability that the county is getting in this comp time. However, you have to remember that it's almost one that you can't hardly get away from. And the reason being is that the sheriff's department, dispatch, and the jail are required to have somebody there 24/7. Don't get around it. You gotta have a person there on the job, do the job. And when we budget so many people and those people aren't there, you have to find a way to either pay other people the time and a half that we would own, that are qualified, or they would get the comp time. And what's happened is that in the jail in particular, they have an exorbitant amount of comp time out there. How many are you short right now, Ron?
We just hired a few Friday that are starting this week. That time, I think we were 9 short with 1 out of medical, so essentially can't open.
So basically, a fourth of their staff, their folks at the 42 were gone, or a fourth of them. And so what Murray, I know, called and asked about, and is that we want to, anyone that has 150 and above, 150 hours and above, that we pay that amount down. Natasha, give us the dollars and cents on that. I think around $27,000.
When you include in the taxes and retirement, it's gonna be 25,126. And here's a breakdown showing, I think it's 10 employees.
How much is left in his salary line because of not having the cost?
He has close to 136,000. So it would end up coming, we would move the money from the salary line to offset, to cover this in the overtime line.
I want to say again, and what I've said before, I do not like paying for comp time. I've said I'm not going to vote to do that anymore several times. But we have an unusual situation in that there's really no choice but to bring people in because you got to have people to work. I can sit here all day long and encourage you to do what you can not to accrue any comp time anymore. But until you get fully staffed, I understand that's a difficult situation. I'm gonna go along with one more time with paying them down to 150 because we have the money in the budget that in essence we didn't pay out because we were so short, so we're just paying somebody else what we would have paid somebody else at the end of the employment. I mean, that's the best way I'm thinking of it. We would have paid that money out if we had only been 4 short instead of 9 short. So I'm gonna make the motion that we pay everybody down to 150. When you get fully staffed, make the people that have 150, I can't say make, I'm gonna suggest or ask that you would try to get the comp time down without us financially
That's a fact.
having to.
And that's a whole lot easier to do when you are full staff.
Yeah, of course.
When you're short, you can't. How much time that just goes up.
Hang on just a second, please. We do have a motion right now. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Okay, now let's talk about it.
No, you're exactly right. And when you're full staff, it's easier to try and get the comp time rolled down. But every open, it creates, when somebody else takes comp, it's, for somebody else that can come in.
And let's remember one thing. Y'all voted to add one more position after this year. So next Thursday, you'll be able to hire another person. We're hoping. I mean, I don't know how to say it. When I see the second in command out there having, this many hours, I'm thinking, man, that something's not adding up, in my opinion. So I'm hoping that we will maybe have a little powwow sometime after the budget, and we'll try to find some ways to reduce that, and maybe come back as, or maybe the first of the year, you get to be in the next sheriff and have some ideas of how we can go about doing it. That's what I'm hoping for.
And in defense of some of these that have these hours, I would assume, correct me if I'm wrong, that those people have so many hours because they're who you can count on. You gotta have somebody, so when you pick up that phone, you need somebody to come.
Yes,
These ones that accrued hours are the ones that are willing to come work.
yes, sir. Some of those issues like that, they're the ones that come in when you call. Also, we haven't paid down comp time in the last several years. So for some of that, it's accumulation over 3 and 4 years worth of overtime also. So there has been a lot now, but there's also a lot that was already on the books. So when you're in that higher category, you're just adding to it.
And of course, please forgive me for this, keep talking about it, but what's happening though is when we're paying that much comp time, we're paying the number 2 guy a lot higher rate than we're paying these folks down here. Whereas some of these people down lower thought that we got some money, they might want to volunteer, to be honest with you. And so the lower level folks are the ones that I would like to see getting some money for their comp time too, to be honest with you. But I'm saying that everybody doesn't need money, but anyway. And so that being the case, you see, you have hired some folks.
Very great on Friday. And we're going to set an application.
So we're about 5 short right now, and we'll be 6 short as of the next Thursday. Okay, we do have a motion and a second to approve this. Any other discussion on the side?
We're gonna pay them down to where they have 150 comp time.
Thank you.
Well, let's go ahead and vote first. We do have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, the last item on the agenda today is adjournment. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? All right, adjourned.
Gotta get back across that river in a hurry. Andrew, have a good day.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't know where to find it.
Hey, Jude, you gonna meet that guy that wants to talk? Okay. All right. Okay, I got it.